the thing I want to talk about real quick is the first and second team announcements and talking about who made the cut. So, as Unrivaled's inaugural season is heading to a close, we are going to talk about the league's first and second team. That was announced on Thursday, and the selections highlight some of the standout players that we have seen all season long. And, you know, let's rock out with it. So, on the first team, we have, surprise, surprise, of course, Napheesa Collier of the Lunar Owl. She is a co-founder of Unrivaled, and she has proven that she is not just a co-founder and co-owner. She is one of the league's most dominant forces. Napheesa Collier has led the league in scoring with 25.7 points a game on a very, very efficient 61% shooting from the field. She has finished fourth in rebounding with 10.6 a game, and she even won the one-on-one tournament in February, which she donated part of that money to the training staff and whatnot. I think that was a pretty awesome thing that she did there. But here's the thing. Napheesa Collier is a straight-up bucket. And Unrivaled just lets us know that regardless, 5-on-5, 3-on-3, y'all, Napheesa Collier is going to be Napheesa Collier. She's going to be very efficient. She's going to be consistent, and she is going to be a hooper. Okay. Next up, let's talk about Chelsea Gray, who made the first team list. And that was not a surprise at all because, y'all, Chelsea Gray has absolutely transformed this Rose team. Her impact has been absolutely undeniable. She's been leading the league in assists per game while averaging 21.3 points a game. She is someone who had a league best 6 game winning shots, making her one of the clutchiest players in the league. Yeah, when Team Rose is winning games is because of Chelsea Gray hooping up a storm. Her passes are crazy, and her shots are even crazier, and she be knocking those things down. So Chelsea Gray, of course, no questions about it, is on the first team. Now, wrapping up the first team for Unrivaled is Kayla McBride of the Laces. Yeah, Kayla McBride is the second leading scorer in the league, averaging. Let's look at the. This is the thing. She's averaging 2.2 points a game for Miss Kayla McBride, and she is someone who can, be a pretty key defensive stopper as well, helping to get the Laces to win some games despite all of the injuries that they have dealt with. Guys, the Laces have dealt with a crazy amount of injuries, and Kayla McBride has been there trying to be the steady force for this team, trying to get this team to win some games, both on the offensive and defensive, in which Kayla McBride is not necessarily known as a defensive player, but at times she was absolutely doing her thing. And that's the only reason, that's the main reason, in my opinion, that the Laces have even made the playoffs. It's because of Kayla McBride and the consistency of Kayla McBride. All right, next up, let's go to the second team. All-Unrivaled. We have, of course, surprise, surprise, Skylar Diggins-Smith of the Lunar Owls. Y'all, she is a straight-up dog. Straight up, guys. When it comes to Skylar Diggins-Smith, she's been crucial for the Lunar Owls. This is a team that has gone 13-1 on the season. In large part, yes, it's for sure because of Napheesa Collier, but it's also a huge part of their success is Skylar Diggins-Smith, their PG, who leads this team in intensity and is just out there hooping. She averaged 17.9 points a game, 4.8 assists per game. She hit 5 game winners throughout the season, and she has just been a straight up bucket. Okay? Straight up bucket. We also have a Rhyne Howard who has been added to the second team, which, Rhyne Howard, fourth leading scorer in Unrivaled, doing her thing, 20.5 points a game. She finished top 5 in both steals and blocks in Unrivaled. And she's been trying to do her thing, helping to secure Vital in getting that fourth and final playoff spot. Y'all, when we talk about someone who can just be on the floor and do a little bit of everything, that's Rhyne Howard. And I feel like this season in Unrivaled, it did, in my opinion, open some eyes of people who have been ignoring what Rhyne Howard's been doing in Atlanta to be like, y'all, she's a bucket. She's a bucket. And she just plays within herself and gets the job done. So, again, Rhyne Howard is on the second team. We also have Angel Reese of Team Rose, who made the second team as well. She has been a rebounding machine, leading the league with 12.1 rebounds a game, while also averaging 13.1 points a game. She's recorded Unrivaled's first 2020 game when she had 22 points and 21 rebounds in a single game. So she's been rocking out as well. And when we talk about Team Rose and their success, yes, absolutely. It's been Chelsea Gray, but the right hand to Chelsea Gray has been Angel Reese this entire time. When Team Rose kind of flipped the script and started winning some games, it was because of both Chelsea and Angel, who have been doing their big one for this. Now, here's the deal. Here is the deal. When we talk about first and second team, we always got to talk about who voted. So the Unrivaled teams were determined by votes from players, coaches, and media members, okay? So the players got 40% of the vote, coaches got 35% of the vote, and media got 25% of the vote. So, okay, a total of 19 media members ended up participating in the voting process. All of the Unrivaled players, head coaches, and assistant coaches got to vote, okay? So we talk about who made it. Let's talk about who got snubbed. So there were 6 total players that won. You know, they absolutely deserved an honor because they were all fantastic. However, there was some strong cases to be made for some other players. Now, let's talk about those players because there's always going to be players who have been snubbed. So here's the thing. When we talk about snub players, some of the names I think of is Alicia Gray. Alicia Gray with the Lunar Owls because, I mean, ultimately, the Lunar Owls are the best team in the league, and it's for a reason because their players were flat out fantastic. And Alicia Gray was one of those players. She averaged 19.1 points a game, 5.5 rebounds a game. She was absolutely hooping for the Lunar Owls. And, you know, she was a strong candidate for a second team nomination, but ultimately she did not get it because you can't really have the entire Lunar Owls starting team on the first and second team, right? You also have De'Erica Hamby of Team Vinyl. De'Erica Hamby, yes, while Rhyne Howard was doing her thing, also De'Erica Hamby was hooping. She was doing everything. She was scoring. She was rebounding. She was someone who yes, was very consistent through this year. Very consistent. 19.9 points a game, right? She was very consistent. However, the last weekend of play, her performance did drop, and ultimately, that's probably why Rhyne Howard was selected over her. Possibly. We also have Breanna Stewart, who, yes, was not necessarily playing her normal Breanna Stewart way. She still was dropping buckets, right? Average a double-double, 19.1 points a game, 10.1 rebounds a game. She was on Team Mist, and the Mist failed to make the playoffs. And that was likely why she didn't end up actually winning that award. Also, Breanna Stewart did just go under the knife recently for a procedure, but supposedly she should be back ready to play for the New York Liberty once the season is getting ready to start. So we'll ultimately see. Also, guys, she has technically not signed her contract just yet for the New York Liberty, which is not a big deal, but just something to note. She hasn't technically signed it right now, but she will. Everybody knows she will, but she hasn't signed it just yet. So something to note. And she just had surgery. I'll maybe have a separate video about that later. Okay. So yeah, those are some of the players that I thought that were like possibly deserving of a second round nomination, but ultimately they did not get it because Unrivaled is a small league, right? Only 6 players can be added to this all-unrivaled team. And now with the all-unrivaled stuff all done, right? We set our eyes on the playoffs, which begin on Sunday with the semifinals. I am so excited to watch these games happen. Of course, as I said earlier, we do have Team Rose versus the Laces. That game is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. We also have the Lunar Owls versus Team Vinyl following that first game. Now, the winners will advance to the Unrivaled Championship that happens on Tuesday, so make sure to stay here for lots of coverage on Unrivaled and whoever is crowned their first champion. All right, let's get to you all's comments. We got Clamp. Thank you so much, Clamp, for the super chat. Says, not going to lie, it took Unrivaled for me to understand how good Rhyne Howard really is. Future star. Yeah, Rhyne Howard's fantastic. And the thing is, she's so low-key and she's so quiet that I feel like sometimes it allows people to forget her talent. And on this channel, what we're not going to do, we're not going to ignore players. We're not just going to focus on like the players who are in the media a lot, people who have a lot of attention, but like also players who are just hooping. And that's Rhyne Howard. Rhyne Howard just does her job. She hoops, then she makes food videos. She makes food videos with Alicia Gray. That's what she do. You know, they be doing their food reviews, which are hilarious, by the way. Very, very hilarious stuff. So yeah, it should be a very good time. Now, just so you all know, we do have our top 5 in rebounds this year. So this is for the entire season. We got Angel Reese with 169 rebounds total for the year. And then we have Brianna Stewart right after her. Then Napheesa Collier, De'Erica Hamby, and Brittany Griner. Next up, for points, we got Napheesa Collier, surprise, surprise, leading the charge with 25.7 points a game. Then we got Kayla McBride, Chelsea Gray, Rhyne Howard, and De'Erica Hamby. For assists per game, of course, we got surprise, surprise, the point guard doing her thing with 76 assists per game for Chelsea Gray. Then we got Skylar Diggins-Smith and Natasha Cloud. Now, guys, that has been your look at the Unrivaled season as we head into the playoffs. Who do y'all have ultimately winning the championship? I have the Lunar Owls because I just don't know how. I don't understand how they would lose, but we'll see. We'll see. Ultimately, we will ultimately see what happens. But this has been a great year for Unrivaled. Yes, the ratings have not been necessarily what they wanted it to be, but overall, I felt like we saw some great basketball. Yes, we saw some ugly basketball at times. Yes, we saw a lot of injuries at times. And yes, there's some stuff that they have to fix. Most notably, the referees, who have been a problem all season. And all 3 of the ejections that have happened this year, I think all of them were not warranted, right? Angel got ejected. We saw Dejanay Carrington get ejected. And the other Rickea Jackson got ejected. Like, the ejections have not been cool. Not at all. And overall, the referees are a problem. So that's something they have to work through. But overall, I think this has been a really good year for Unrivaled. I'm excited to see what the future has to hold for it. And ultimately, I do think that Unrivaled is helping to kind of push the WNBA into more stuff. We saw when I was at the game for Unrivaled, I saw Kathy Engelbert in the stands. Like, she went to several Unrivaled games. She's just looking and seeing how they do stuff, looking to see how their fan activations look and whatnot. And there's been so many things that Unrivaled has done well that I've been excited about. And ultimately, we'll see how things continue on from here. Now, guys, what do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below. Again, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. This is Quita. We in the morning, and we're talking about some women's hoops.